it's we're discussing the Yidindji, or the creation of the Yidindji, or not the creation, but the
revitalisation of Yidindji.
Of the Yidindji.
Yeah, the Yidindji people.
And look, the reason why I want to speak to Peter about this, or your tribal name, if you...
Which is Ganyara, yeah. Ganyara Yamba.
Yeah, is that the governments that we've got at the moment should be upholding certain laws and rules or what have you, and because we are starting to discover that such governments may not be upholding their end of the bargain, you could say, this is what is the cause, or maybe the cause of looking at the governments that may have been here prior to the colonial governments that arrived in 200 years ago.
Yeah.
But if you'd I guess just explain a little bit about the Yidindji tribal government.
Well, we've got to go back to basically the Yidindji people.
Yeah.
And they're a tribal people. There's two ways of doing this. We can look at it from a Bible perspective, or we can look at it from our perspective. A Bible perspective, if you go to Babylon, where they destroyed the tower and threw all the tribes out, and one tribe ended up here. So you use the Bible to say that's why we're here. So it's their law book, or their religious law book, that says there's a tribe here scattered across the earth. But in saying that, we knew we were here all along. We never needed their Bible to tell us that we've been here for 20, 30, 40,000 years, because our law book, our religious law book, which has the god of Guppy, Gaibara Guppy down here, and Guppy Gimpy from Yumbaway, as the god, which is the God in the Bible. So if we're the creation of God, God's children, as per the Bible, same here. We're Guppy's children. So we've always been here. The people have always been here and looked after the place, and they've had a form of government all along. The government was that, for example, there were lawmen that upheld the law of the tribe. So those lawmen went out as police officers, and they brought the offender back to the tribal courts, which are the equivalent to the courts. So there has always been a government here. However, about 1788, a group of colonialists or British come out here to impose their government and their law on us, which we've always had.
Would that be like an administrative government over the top, or?
They were kings and queens at the time. However, they turned up in a corporate disguise.
Yeah, that's right.
So you didn't really see them as the corporate entity, but you saw them as men coming in and just taking over. They come in for the commercial purpose of making money. And God said, don't go and make money out of my country. You use it as a usufructory right. So if you have this usufruct, you can take my stuff and use it for your own advantage now, but you've got to leave some for someone else.
Yeah.
So that's basically usufruct. God owns it, you don't, so you can use it, but always remember God owns it. But when they come in here, they didn't ask if they could come in. They just sort of marched in with the gun, and we'll just keep chasing them back, herding them back, hoping they would die. And that was one of the statements that was made in about 1890-95. They didn't even want to include the Aboriginal people in the Constitution because they thought they were of such an inferior low race, they'd all be dead within the next 50 years. So the 6 colonies come and formed, there was New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, South Australia, West Australia and Tasmania. And people ask, where was the Northern Territory? Well, that was South Australia back then. It was right one big piece. But those 6 states decided to federate, to join up, to save recreating in every state their own system of government, which is what? They were colonial governments, set up under the Queen's rules. So,
which is a foreign rule.
Oh yeah, my word, she is. She's out of over there. And I know the tribes over in England, well, the land known as England, they're the tribes there that just put out boats everywhere and will go and sail the 7 seas, plunder resources. Just like the Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, all those. But the Yidindji people had been trading all along for the last 10,000 years with Egyptians and Romans. There's Egyptian artefacts here, chariot wheels, Roman helmets in caves, within Yidindji country. You can go and see them to this very day. They haven't been taken by the British yet.
It's also something that's not really widespread we're not told about these
No,
other
no.
artefacts that have been found.
No. That's just Yidindji property.
Yeah.
Just like having a museum in England or down in Brisbane or Canberra, we've got our own. So we've got all our stuff. You know, our stuff has been here. There's still the old tribal shields and stuff still there. But in saying that, to understand why Yidindji's doing what it's doing, you've got to have a look at an act that was written in 2013 by, call it a better word, administration. The government is not a government because Yidindji is. The Commonwealth of Australia is an administrator and they'll admit to it.
In a form of a corporate administrator, corporation type.
Yeah. Well, an administration can't be anything other than a corporate entity.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're in administration, for example, like you're in a bankruptcy, so you're under administration, it has to be another company that administers.
That's right.
So it has to be company. It's not ecclesiastical level sovereignty stuff. Those people can't administer something else for someone else.
Yeah.
So in saying that, we'll go to what Julia Gillard said in 2012. We hold this in trust for a sovereign people. So she was saying that the government don't own it. That was at the miners' meeting in 2012.
Yeah, I remember that.
She said, we hold this in trust. So that means there is a trust, there is an administration, there are trustees.
She's actually admitting it.
Yeah, my word. And she said, we hold this in trust for a sovereign people. They own it. The sovereign people own the country, not the government. Even the government said they don't own it. So if that's the case, then they have to be administrators. They can't be a government. They are the government of the trustees to make sure that those trustees who are employed by the administration are doing the right thing to supply benefit to the beneficiary, being the sovereign people.
And this is even backed up by the Judge Dowsett.
Oh yeah, my word, because Justice Dowsett in the federal court, now he's done 3 native title determinations up here. There was Munding Alpi and Yidindji combined determination, and there was a 2 tableland Yidindji determination. And in those, in the tableland Yidindji ones, he makes it very clear. He said, I come here today to give you nothing. This is where he's handing down his thing to the determination to the Yidindji people. I come here to give you nothing. All you can give them is recognition. As he said, the Yidindji people own this land pursuant to their law. Their law has got roots in ancient times. So he said that the Yidindji people aren't Australians, for a start. He said they own the land, which is second, and they have another law system which is older than Australia's. So you think about what he's saying. He said this group of people, not the Australians, own the land that Australia think they own under their own law, which is not Australian law. You just think about that for a minute. What was actually said? So if the Yidindji own it, what do Australians own? If Yidindji have their law, what do Australians have? This is monumental. But that's backed up further by saying in 2013 that an act was passed, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander People Recognition Act 2013 was passed in March, 18th of March 2013, where it said that the Yidindji or the Aboriginal people aren't yet in the Constitution. Now you've got to remember the Constitution created Justice Dowsett and the Federal Court.
That's right.
So if these people aren't in the Constitution, can they see Justice Dowsett or the Federal Court?
No.
Or is their law still here? These other people with their law that own the place that are not in the Constitution yet. So the Constitution, so you've got to go back then as to how the Constitution got here, and that's why we're talking about the 6 states federating to come together. And they wanted to have a Constitution, so to do that, you've got to have a rule book that lays out the whole plan. Everything's put out before you. The Constitution creates the courts, the judiciary, it creates the executive, which is the law enforcement or the workers for the administration, and it creates the legislative side of it, which make the laws that the executive enforce and are upheld by the courts, by the judiciary.